Hello everybody, this is Pap, aka Pedro Hernandez, aka Pap's Only World on Tumblr, and I'm doing the Ultimate DC tag. I was tagged by Bridget spectromagiic. Hey Bridget, how you doing girl? Unfortunately, I was going to do this as a video like everybody else has been doing, but the camera that I have at the moment is only capable of taking like 9-minute videos for every video that it takes. So when I tried it the first time around, it ended on the third question, and I just kept going on rambling about my answers without knowing that the camera was completely done and over with the video. And I was alone at the time when I was taking the video, so I had no one to tell me that the first half was done. Then I had to do another one. So for now, you guys might have to settle with an audio tag for this and upload it on YouTube. So deeply sorry that you get to see me on camera, but hopefully they will too, because what matters in the end is the answers, right? So okay, here we go. Very first question. Favorite Disney film? Everybody that knows me knows that this is going to be a very cliche answer, but easily Beauty and the Beast. That Beauty and the Beast is a movie that impacted me deeply when I was a young boy. I watched it very young, and I was so affected by its themes of love, acceptance, sacrifice, and mutual unconditional love that it completely shaped me into the romantic that I am today. I'm in love with its characters, with its music, and its animation. It's not a perfect movie like some people claim that it is, and I would be one to say that it has got some small flaws, but it's a movie that ever since I rediscovered it back in 2002, I fell in love with it, and now it's one of my all-time favorites, with Aladdin being a very close second, and I will explain why in one of the later questions. But yeah, Beauty and the Beast is my all-time favorite Disney animated classic. Next question. Favorite Disney soundtrack? For me, that's Aladdin. Like, I really love all of the soundtracks for the Disney films, whether they be animated or live action. But the thing is that in nearly every soundtrack, there's always that one song that you just don't like, you don't barely like even tolerate. Like in Hunchback of Notre Dame, it was a guy like you for some. For others, it was the Troll song in the Fixer Upper in Frozen. There's always that one selection of songs where you don't like, and it's always like that one main scene that you love the most. But for me, Aladdin is one of those rare occasions where I consider the entire soundtrack to be perfect. Like, I don't think there is any song that is superfluous or just has no reason of being within the story. Every song is done beautifully. Like Genie's Friend Like Me is always so energetic. Prince Ali's intro is just incredible. Arabian Nights just puts you in the mood perfectly. Like, there's no song that is completely wasted in the soundtrack. So for me, my favorite Disney soundtrack is Aladdin. Third question. Favorite Disney princess? Another obvious one if you know me very well, and that's Belle. I relate to Belle so much on so many levels because I came from a very small Puerto Rican town, a small mountain town where everybody knew each other, but I really hated growing up there because, much like Belle, I was surrounded by people that just care about their daily lives, their mundane lives, and every time I tried to like interact with them, showing my interests and my other thoughts in life, I would get either weird looks or say that I was kind of weird for thinking like that. And usually there was always some jerk that they admire for being so charismatic, like, kind of like Gaston. So I grew tired of like growing up in that town. So every time that Belle sings the opening song, I really get her. Like, some say that she might be a little bit snobbish, but and I can agree how it can be snobbish like that, but I understand how it feels to grow up in an environment that restricts you restricts who you are and thinks that you are weird because of you go against their standards or their what they think is normal. So for me, Belle is one of my favorites. I really love the relationship that she gains with the Beast, how it grows, and I just love everything about her. That she's just more than just an animated Disney princess crush. So yeah, Belle for me is my favorite Disney princess. Okay, the next one. Favorite Disney psychic. I would have to pick the Enchanted Servants, Lumiere, Cogsworth, Missy Parsons ship, because even though you can make the argument that that ship is a character that was created to appeal to the younger kids in the audience, and there are some making of features that confirm that the Lumiere, Cogsworth, and Mrs. Potts are there beyond just being the comic relief for the whole story. They are there to support Bear and the Beast in the best way possible. They try to cheer her up. They try to like give advice to the Beast. They try to like make everything work out. You could say that they're doing that out of interest because if the spell is broken, they will be free of the spell as well. But I think deep down in the end, they cared a lot about the well-being of the Beast and Belle. So that's why they're some of my favorite Disney sidekicks. Favorite Pixar film? For me, that would be Ratatouille. And here's why. I saw the movie when it came out way back in 2007. I saw it with my best friend Jesse. Hey Jesse, how you doing? I saw it, and in that point in our lives, we were about to embark on a really long journey of pursuing our dreams. My friend was about to become a game developer. I was about to finish my bachelor's degree in education. I was to studying, about to begin my student teaching after the summer. And that movie spoke to us on such a deep level about new talent, about changing the world, about how talent can come from anywhere, and about how sometimes the world is against you, but you can refuse to accept the world as is and try to make it as better as possible. It's a movie that to this day I watch and get inspired by it. It's one of my favorite inspirational movies that Pixar has ever done, and it's a movie that has a really great script. Like if you will sit down and think about it, it has very little flaws in terms of character development. It has a very realistic feel to it. So for me, Ratatouille is my favorite Pixar film. Favorite thing to collect. I like to collect Funko Pops, even though technically the Funko Pops are not Disney exclusive because they have done like The Simpsons, Psycho, they have done like Breaking Bad and so many other licenses, but they also have done the DC line, and they have some of the most beautiful designs in their DC lines. For example, I really love the beast that they have for their collection. I really love it because the beast one was given to me as a birthday present by one of my friends, one of my dearest friends, and I just really love the design of it. And I also love to collect animations. I get that animations is something that some people really like, are really passionate about, what other people are just feeling like apathetic or just plain hate them. I get that sometimes some designs are really ugly and disgusting, but but I really like them when they do it right. They get it them really right, and they get some really beautiful designs out of the limited Mickey mode. So for me, I really love to collect animations, and although I have a couple of pins, I'm not like a really big pin collector like some people are. So yeah, for me, I love to collect Funko Pops and animations. Favorite Disney song? A Whole New World from Aladdin. Another one that is very obvious if you have known me personally in the last few years. I recently wrote an article about it on my website, threecommenteers.com. I recently wrote an article about why that song means so much on a personal level, because The song is more than just my favorite Disney song. It's my favorite Disney. It's my favorite song, period, because it speaks to me on such a deep personal level that I love it so much. I really love the lyrics, the melody of it, and they really put their hearts out for this one. Brad Kane and Leah Salonga, and I just love the message that it conveys about leaving the world behind and pursuing something that actually makes you happy. I really love the lyric of every moment where later where it's talking about making every moment in life significant, trying not to waste it. I enjoy it as best as possible. I also love the lyric of I'm like a shooting star. I'm come so far. I can't go back to where I used to be, because to me that is talking about how sometimes in life you go through so many experiences, you learn so much that you are no longer the person that you were before, and thanks to this wonderful life journey you become a bigger, better person because of it. So yeah, A Whole New World is not just one of my favorite Disney songs, it's one of my favorite songs period about time. Favorite Disney Park souvenir. It's such a continue with the Whole New World theme. It's actually a Whole New World music box that there's actually a cute story for it. Back in 2012, I went to Walt Disney World for the very first time in my life. I went with a dear friend of mine, Kevin. Hey, Kevin. I went. We met up at downtown Disney. We went to the Walt Disney store to like see everything that they had. We were like in the collectible section, and there was this little girl that was pointing out, saying, "Look, mom, it's Aladdin and Jasmine. Look at it." So we looked down, and it was this really beautiful music box where Aladdin and Jasmine were on the magic carpet, and they were sitting on top of the cloud, and when you wind it up it plays A Whole New World. So when I saw that, I was like, I had to have it. I had to have it, but I don't know if I should buy it. So it was Corbin the one that convinced me to actually like buy it and make it like my very first Disney souvenir from this trip, because it was my favorite Disney movie. It was one of my favorite Disney songs. It was my birthday, so why the hell not? So that's one of my favorites souvenirs from the Disney parks. Favorite Disney parks memory. Oh my god, where do I begin? I have so many memories of the Disney parks that I could easily like do a 30-minute podcast just talking about them. But there are a few select that I consider the most important and the most significant in my life. The very first one is entering Animal Kingdom for the first time. That might seem like a bit of a weird memory because Animal Kingdom is just one of those underrated parks that a lot of people like take for granted, people don't care much about. But that was the very first park that I ever visited, making it the very first Disney park I ever visited in my entire life. And upon entering it, it was just so magical and so different from what I ever expected. Like seeing all of the surroundings, seeing all of the people, seeing the incredible theming, the characters, the music, and then seeing the tree of life in front of me. That was such a magical experience that I teared up. That's one of my favorite memories, just walking into my very first Disney park. The other one will be seeing Cinderella Castle on my birthday for the very first time, because I got to see it with my dearest friends, and that was a lifelong dream of mine to see the castle, just the castle, at least for one day. And on my birthday, I got to make that dream a reality. Last year, when I visited Disneyland, when I entered for the first time, that was an amazing memory as well. And finally, here's another great story. When I went to Disneyland, I went to the Adventures by Disney trip that you can go on, and on one morning we went to the parks like very early in the morning to have some breakfast in one of the restaurants at the parks. So what happened is that after we were done with the photo shoots around the hub and the Sleeping Beauty Castle, the guide tells us that we were going to have a breakfast experience at the Blue Bayou with Princess Diana and Captain Jack Sparrow. It was like a princess pirate scene that they were supposedly trying out. That we were going to be the first ones to try it out. So we make our way to New Orleans Square. When we get to the Blue Bayou, the hostess was saying, but we don't serve breakfast here. What are you talking about? We don't serve breakfast here. We don't have anything like that. So the guy was like, oh well, maybe we should try next door. So we looked next door, and it was Club 33. Yup, Club 33 was we ate breakfast at Club 33, and that was one of the most incredible life experiences ever, because for many people that's one place they want to eat, and we were lucky enough to be given the chance to eat there, and it's such a beautiful restaurant. It's a shame that they changed it recently to something that is kind of like generic and not as homely as the original was, but we were thankful that we got the opportunity to eat there. So yeah, that's some of my favorite memories. Next question: favorite Disney actor slash actress? I will have to go with Jodie Benson with the voice of Ariel, Dick Van Dyke, who is technically beyond just a Disney actor, but he has done so much with Disney that you cannot associate him with it, and Julie Andrews, who are like Dick Van Dyke, you associate him so much with her with Disney that you just can't think of Julie Andrews without thinking of Mary Poppins or the Princess Diaries movies. Okay, next question. Favorite Disney villain? I have a rule where I had to like define the two villains in two different categories. The first being fantastical and the other being real non-fantastical or realistic. On the fantastical level, I have to go with a tie between Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty and Ursula from The Little Mermaid. Both of them are amazing villains. They have such a powerful presence in their movies, and I love how much power I command they possess over the other characters. And I really love them in terms of the fantastical Disney princess line, as well as in terms of the non-fantastical ones. I have to go with Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Even though they don't have any kind of like magical powers or they can like rule you with their magic or anything like that, the reason that I love them so much is because these are characters that can easily exist in the real world. Like, you can actually meet people that are just as hateful and bigoted as Frollo is in the movie, and you can meet people like Gaston who are really evil, really ill, really awful human beings, but because they have so much charisma, people fall in love with them, and they can easily convince a whole town to go against someone just because it's their will. So for me, in the realistic, non-fantastical villain level, Frollo and Gaston are my favorites. Favorite Disneyland area? I have to go with Fantasyland, who is a bit of a cliched answer to make, but considering that I've been able to go to both Disneyland and Walt Disney World within the year, last year, within a couple of months of each other, I will have to give Disneyland's Fantasyland more credit because it is beautifully designed, it's more homely, it has a very magical feel to it that I think the Walt Disney World's Fantasyland kinda lacks. Like, yeah, I still love it, especially now that they have the whole Fantasyland expansion, but Disneyland Fantasyland just felt really wonderful, and they have so many classic attractions. And after seeing what they did with the Alice in Wonderland attraction there, I'm really hoping to see what they do with the other attractions to make them more beautiful and more vibrant than ever before. So yeah, Fantasyland is my favorite land in the parks, in both parks. Fred, if you could be any character at the Disney parks, who would you be? Okay, the very first one is the Beast because I adore the Beast. He's one of my favorite Disney characters of all time, and I actually have the body build to actually sustain such a really big suit. It might be hard, but I could do it. I would be an honor to play the Beast at the parks. Next will be Sully from Monster Inc. slash University. I really love Sully as a character. I love John Goodman. I love what he brings to the character. He bought movies. So I really adore Sully. So I would love to play him. And finally, even though the movie has not come out yet, I would love to play in Baymax as well at the parks from Big Hero 6. I've yet to see the movie, but I know that I'm going to love Baymax to death. I'm going to love him so much because I love the way that he speaks. I love the way that he expresses himself to Hero, and plus he's just a really big chubby character. Like I don't care if they go for the superhero version or the normal version at the parks. I just would love to play Baymax because once again I have the really big body for it. Okay, if you could relive any Disney film moment, which would you choose? That's another easy one, a whole new world, because let's be honest with us here. Who wouldn't want to like go on a magic carpet ride around the world, escape from the hellhole that they're living at, and see brand new places from a magical new perspective? Yeah, I get that some people will get scared, they will get like a vertigo, or they will get airsick. But for me, it would be like a thrilling, wonderful scene, especially if you can go to like 3 or 4 countries within one night and enjoy everything. So yeah, I would love to recreate a whole new world one way or the other. Technically, you can do that at the Magic Carpets of Aladdin in Adventureland at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. You can do that, but it's not the same. Okay, if you could meet any Disney celebrity, who would it be? I would have to go with Jodie Benson, and that is because she just seems to be one of the most passionate, more caring, and most wonderful human beings that you could ever meet. Like, what you see is truly what you get with her. Like, if you see her acceptance speech in the 2011 Disney Legends induction ceremony, she talks about her experiences with Disney in such a very passionate, very beautiful way that it just inspires you to go follow your dreams. Like, I love how she adores playing Ariel, singing part of your world. Like she has yet to grow cynical or tired of being a Disney character within the company, and she thanks like Glenn Keane and his wife for changing her life when her marriage was in the rocks. And she seems like an inspirational person to meet and talk to. So I hope that one day I get to meet Jodie Benson in person and just tell her how much she means to me on a personal level. If you could only keep one Disney movie, which would it be? That's very easy. It will have to be Aladdin. Yeah, I already mentioned that Beauty and the Beast is my favorite movie of all time, Disney movie. But the reason that went with Aladdin is because Aladdin is a more perky, more upbeat movie, and I really love the soundtrack to it. And it's a movie that the more that I watch it, the better it gets. It's very rare for a movie that has some really referential humor to become as timeless and ageless as Aladdin has. So if I were to like keep just one movie, I would have to go with Aladdin. As much as I love Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin is the movie that I would choose. Like I said earlier, it's a movie that is very closely tied to Beauty and the Beast for first place. If you could choose any character to be best friends with, who would you pick? I will go with Rapunzel from Tango because she just has this energy to her that is very like you will have to be like the biggest heartless, soulless person not to be for you to not be won over by this young woman who just has a really strong lust for life and a desire to get out of her tower and just explore the world that is in front of her. She's just so adorable in everything that she does. You can just imagine going to the parks with her, riding Splash Mountain, going on Haunted Mansion, and just having a great time because she will be the kind of best friend that will try to make the moment very significant and very beautiful and wonderful. So yeah, for me, I would have to go with Rapunzel as being the best friend that I would pick. If you could say one thing to Walt Disney, what would it be? Well, the most obvious one that a lot of people have been saying is thank you. Thank you because thanks to his movies, his parks, and his company as a whole, I was able to meet some of the most amazing friends ever. I was able to overcome a lot of things in my life. I was able to pursue my dream of storytelling, being like a writer, and just learning more about storytelling, learning more about classic stories and animation in general. So that's something that I would say to him. Thank you so much for, and to Roy as well, because Roy Disney has played a big role in that, both junior and senior. But I would also like ask him about the movies that he saw as a kid that inspired him to create the movies he made later on, like Snow White and Peter Pan. I would love to talk to him about how what he thought, what he felt watching those movies as a little boy. I'd also ask him about the time when he was Peter Pan in a play. I'm pretty sure he will get a kick out of being able to talk about that moment in his life. There's just so much I want to to him about what he was thinking about when he was creating Disneyland, if he ever saw that he was ever going to complete it, what he felt about some what happened during the strike. Like so many things to just ask him because I want to learn him more about the man rather than the icon and the myths and the legend that people had created about him. Moving on, if you could stay at any Disney resort free of charge, which would it be? The very first one would be the Cinderella suite in the castle at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. I would love to go like stay one night because it just looks like a beautiful place and it's themed after this Cinderella. Disney Cinderella is my favorite third Disney movie after Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, so that would be awesome to like stay for one night. The second option would be the Art and Animation Resort. I actually got to see part of it when it was still like incomplete back in 2012 when they only had the Finding Nemo and Cars section. Like I fell in love with the statues and the designs for everything. Like the theming in the whole resort is beyond amazing. Like incredible, incredible. Like I don't care if they put me the Lion King, the Cars, or Little Mermaid area. I just want to stay one night there to experience the whole scene. I just get the complete Disney animation experience for a couple of nights. And finally, it will be the Grand Floridian, which is a resort that I have yet to visit yet. I've seen so many pictures of it and heard so many stories about how beautiful it is that I just want to see it one day and stay there. And especially the Disney Vacation Club Villas because they are seen after Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins is one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. Okay, cheap or Dale? I have to go with Dale because he's just such a beautiful chipmunk. Like he has the really big red nose, he has the beautiful buck teeth, and he brings so much life to the duo, especially Rescue Rangers when he was wearing like the Hawaiian shirt. So since then, I've always loved Dale above Chip. Sorry, Chief, you have your great qualities, but I prefer there above you. Sebastian or Flounder? I'm going with Sebastian because, first of all, I really love his voice actor, Samuel E. Wright. I really love the Jamaican accent that he brought to the role. I really loved how his character development, like how he started up as being very uptight about everything, but at the same time, later on, as the story progresses, you get to see him like suffering up a bit and just realizing that Ariel needed to be happy somehow and supporting her all the way. So I have to go with Sebastian for that one. Vicky or Minnie? I have to go with the both of them equally because the two of them are just very sweet to meet. They are always so wonderful. Mickey always gives you a really big hug, and Minnie always kisses you. So I have to go with them equally. I just can't choose between one or the other. Pascal or Maximus? I have to go with the little green frog. I mean, Chameleon. Chameleon. He's just a great character, very sassy, very. Even though he's a very pantomime character, you get so much personality out of him. And let us not forget that he had a role in the death of Mother Gothel, so he gets extra points for that. Sven or Olaf? I have to go with Olaf because I love what Olaf represents in the whole story, which is the happiness between Anna and Elsa. I really love that when Elsa is having her let it go moment, she creates Olaf and she creates him out of sheer joy and happiness. And I really love that he represents the desire to pursue your dreams even though they're just really impossible to achieve. And I really love his voice actor, Josh Gad. I really love him a lot, so I have to go with Olaf for that one. Abu or Russia? That's very easy for me. I have to go with Russia for various reasons. Number one, I love cats. Number two, I love really big cats. Number three, who wouldn't want to have a tiger bodyguard guarding you all the time and keeping away those people that just want to start trouble with you? Like it would be awesome to walk around with a big ass tiger like Raja. So I have to go with Raja for that. Lumiere or Cogsworth? That's very easy, Lumiere, because he can throw a party very easily and without any question. He has such a great, charming personality that you just can't help but love him for it. Donald or Goofy? Easily, Donald. Donald. Like I love Goofy, I really love him a lot, but I just love how Donald is very easy to relate to, especially when he gets angry at things that are insignificant because we always get angry at things that have no real meaning whatsoever in our lives, yet we lose it no matter what. So I love what he represents for that. I really love that he represents that aspect of life. Anna or Elsa? I have to go with Anna on this one, which might be surprising for some because I keep hearing like Elsa this and Elsa that. The thing is that while I understand why people gravitate towards Elsa a lot, I understand that people love her design, that people love her voice actress, Idina Menzel, everybody loves Let It Go and such. But the thing is that Anna doesn't get enough recognition as a character within her own movie. Like, Anna grew up alone, basically. Like, she was completely shut off from her sister, and without any explanation whatsoever. After her parents died, she was pretty much alone for the rest of her life, except during the coronation. And even with all of that, Anna did not have any resentment towards Elsa. She did not have any hatred or just any kind of bitterness towards anybody. She was just a very warm, lovable person. And when she accidentally makes Elsa angry when she confesses that she wants to marry Hans, on the same night. She realizes that she made a mistake, so she goes after Elsa to try and fix everything up. So you have to admire her bravery for taking off like that and trying to find her sister and bring her back to the kingdom. So it's really sad that Anna doesn't get enough recognition for everything that she does within the story. And finally, Buzz or Woody. I have to go with Buzz on this one. I get that a lot of people love Woody. I love Tom Hanks as well, and I really like Woody, but I just love Buzz as a comedic character. Like on the very first movie, just how delusional he was, especially during the Mrs. Nesbitt bit, where he says, "You see this? You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbitt." And then on the second movie, when he's talking about s'mores, you'll be sitting around the campfire eating delicious s'mores. And the face that he makes is epic. And finally, in the third movie, we have Spanish Boss. He just gets some of the best comedic moments in those movies. So for me, I have to go with Boss. Even though I know that Woody is a heart and soul of the whole franchise. Where after over 30 minutes of me talking, you know me, I love to ramble. It's about time that I tag some people. But before I tag some people here, I just want to say, if you want to do it, if I tag you, that's fine. If you don't want to do it, that's fine too. You can do it whichever way you want to do it. No problem with me. I won't judge you. And on that same note, if you want to do this tag without me tagging you, that's okay. You can do it without my permission, without anyone tagging you. Just have fun. I had a lot of fun doing this. So in terms of who I want to tag, I want to tag Jenna, aka Lovekev on Tumblr. Hey Jenna. I want to tag the Pepper Lady. I want to tag Sarah Hubbard. Hey Sarah, aka Samurai who smells of sunflowers on Tumblr. I want to tag Tony Lopez. Hey Tony, Tony WDA on Tumblr. I want to tag Kelvin, aka the McKiwi. I don't know if he will do it because he runs an Alice blog. Portable Theme Park, who is one of the biggest How to Train Your Dragon fans ever. And finally, I tag Just a Dream Away, aka Alex Mabetti. Like I said, guys, if you guys want to do it, that's fine by me. If you don't want to do it, that's fine by me as well. It all depends if you want to do it or not. If you can do anything with this ultimate tag, and again to all my other followers, if you want to do it for yourself without anyone tagging you, go ahead. This is for fun. It's not something that you have to either do it because somebody told you to do it or just wait for someone to tell you to do it. So on that note, thank you everybody for listening to me ramble for a couple of minutes. Hope you have a magical day. Thank you, Bridget, Spectromagiic, once again for tagging me on this. May everybody have a magical day. Bye.